Well, hello people, and welcome back to part 19 of Yokeley, our vanilla Cities 2 build. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Last few episodes, Yokeley's really gotten quite big. The power plant, of course, went in last week, and public transport hubs that have been here for a while now are getting some use, and the city's just living and breathing. Very nice to see. In today's episode, we're actually heading back to Upper Benedict to develop the very abrupt edge of town here, to round it out as a bit of an end of Upper Benedict, and also prepare those national arterial roads that will eventually run into the farm space that lies much further away up the hill. So that's what we'll do today, a lot of fun. So we're going to have a lot of farming communities out here. We've also prepared national roads coming out of Sunnyside for that eventuality. So that'll be fun. It's very Project Skylines, like, isn't it? I can't see surfaces now without thinking of that project. Thanks for all supporting it, by the way, if you are watching it. Our new modded CS2 build is very fun. But we're sat here today with some tileage. Now, we are losing money a little bit, 20 grand an hour. It's about to get worse because we're buying 3 tiles, I think, today, and paying the ridiculous tile upkeep mechanic. I might end up turning this off, but I'll try and manage it for a little bit. And let's have a look at the taxation. Let's do services. So we're paying 2 million a month for fire service, which seems a lot. Let's kill that a bit. Go down to 80 and 1.4 million on police as well. We never really have that much crime. Let's come down to 90 on policing and medical care. I believe there is a bug, another one, with the death care at the minute, hence Yokeley's permanent death solutions, although it is actually a little bit better at the minute. But yeah, apparently there has been a death care bug reintroduced in a patch, so thanks for all the comments on that last episode. It wasn't my mismanagement. So when we first started Upper Benedict, we were very strict with our terrain, and we need to be again here. So what I'd like to do is pick out a layer that the main street can sit on. Now this road is also going to run into the campus. I'll tell you what, there's already a naturally flat point here, isn't there? Which is about there for us. Let's do that then. So we'll make this the layer of kind of the main street, and then everything else can just run off of this. I'm going to go a bit flatter because I want the main street to just play a bit fairer in terms of terrain. And then with that in, I'm also going to create the upper layer of the end of Benedict, which is probably going to be this one. Here we come down a little bit than that actually. That's a bit tall. And then just give that a little run out as well. And then simply slope all this together just left to right. We can probably do this in quite a wide brush, I think. So from the end of that road up to the top. I think always a bit of good advice I try to remember. With terraform, it is just try and ease out the slopes, but maintain the shape of the hill. Tends to have it look a bit more natural, I find. With this one here, we don't need nearly as big a brush size for this. Let's find this layer on the road. It's right here. And then we'll just extend that for Main Street to run down, creating a bit of a lip around the creek, because we're going to want the bridge over here too. And then push that up. Just steepen the sides of the little river there. I don't want it too much here. Just a bit of a general flat space around the junction. We will move to 4 lane here, although we're going to do a fancy 4 lane. I think we'll go divided. Really just as a bit of fanciness on the road. And let's run this for 300 meters, and this will be kind of the main bit of Main Street. And then we'll also have a bit of divided here before it changes. As the bridge comes in. Or maybe where there'll be another junction here, probably. Back to 4 lane. And we can get a little curve here. Or do we actually just want to go straight across? Yeah, I think straight across is probably better, isn't it? And this will then be a real key and probably main road that holds the front of the yet unfinished campus that will eventually occupy this space. But we just need much more education demand before we can start placing those massive university assets. That's what will eventually go there. With that in now, of course, we've maintained all of our whole grids. So let's time lapse up all these little road connections that want to come and meet. What's this called? Willowbrook Street. Quite a nice name actually for the college town. So here we now have our road frame for Upper Benedict, and you can see how I've just led those more main roads to sort of taper off into the national road arterial systems. Likewise with this one as well, once that tile boundary opens. Over here, I wanted to bring the trams up together rather than in time-lapse. So they're currently stopping here. We'll definitely have the trams run to the top of the hill and then all the way back down again, which will actually make them run from the top of this hill all the way over to the train station over there. Which is a really cool little run for them, isn't it? We'll do a first-person tour of that after this episode, once it's done, of course. So with our tram lines, I do want them to leave the road for a little bit. What are you? Can we help you? You're only a pool. Let's get rid of you. Because I think I want the trams to leave the road. Let's say... Oh, you're not happy there, right? You're being stretched on that angle. Okay, well, let's run them up this way then. We'll do this one instead. Let's have them run out 2 tiles away from the road, I think should be enough for them. Then we'll cross over the junction. There shouldn't be any major issue. And then I'd like to bring them to stop. So I think I'm only going to have 4 deep zonings on the main street using the southwest mixed use, of course. What else? It's the best zoning in the game. And then in the middle of Main Street, which is pretty much about here, isn't it? See, there's that death bug again. Just keeps coming back, even though we have enough capacity. We'll feed the one-way loop back in. I know we can turn trams around on their own line now, but I still like to do these little turnaround points. Bring that level with the road guideline. And then we'll put that in. And we can decorate this with surfaces and whatnot. And then we'll also run some pathways. Just snapping into the grid should be acceptable. In terms of the tram stops, we'll have them come in here. Would it be nice to have it stop both sides? It's massively unnecessary. Yeah, I'm actually not going to do it. It doesn't need to be done. It's okay. That will trigger the public transport police. It always does. But I'll avoid it this time. And then trams just down this asymmetrical to join up with... Lost a bit of zone in there, did we? It's going to regrow. Where they already come from. And then we'll definitely have... And again, that's probably a fair enough distance, because we're going to have buses here as well in a second. And then you, my little red line friend, will come up here. Finally finish your loop after quite a long time. And then, of course, don't forget to add in the stops back where we've removed them from. And now we'll see our red trams trace all the way up this road, which has a fantastic view, by the way. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? That's probably one of the best views in the city, to be honest. You can see Shelton from here, too. Big housing estate over there. I'm sure if you line the sight line up, you can just about make out downtown Benedict from here, too. With some actual nice walking activity, it's nice to see some busy CS2 streets. I think this is where all the people live, because the other towns are so quiet. But, it's nice to see some scurrying, isn't it? There we go. There goes our tram. It's going to come down. We'll have a nice bit of decoration around here as well. And let's start to bring in some of our first buildings. So for the first time in quite a while, we actually have commercial demand again, which is nice. Did the budget balance back out? It just dropped back into red, so it looks like it's fluctuating a bit. This zoning should help it. So I don't want to have this everywhere, this mixed use, because our population's going to get too high. Right, we're at episode 19 and we're at 86,000 population. Crazy. So we'll grow here. I'm not too fussed about it growing on Main Street. A lot of these are decent corner buildings, so they'll work either side. But I only want these mixed use taller buildings actually on the main street here. So not backing onto these smaller side streets. In this instance, I would actually like some commercial, and we'll do a mix of different things here. The occasional apartment building as well I wouldn't be averse to. Again, just because of the stylization, I'm always going to gravitate towards Southwest. It's much more nicer buildings, I think. So let's get some larger apartments on these more important corners on the run up to the street. Some Southwest office on the main street too. So picking out those more important corners, of course, do have to be careful in vanilla because there's no historicalization, which does change how you have to zone, I think. And then another stretch of that 4 deep mixed use here as well. I think I probably do want this to connect through. I'll do that now. And then some larger assets around here too. It's scan our unique buildings, see what we have available. There's a lot of French. Unique buildings which can't really use here. We do have some really nice commercial buildings though, especially with a steakhouse, which is a really nice looking building, isn't it? Let's get that there. We'll have some apartments growing around it. But brilliant little corner asset, this one. And because this is brick, maybe we can swing in a little bit of northeast mixed use. Bit of brick on brick action will always go nicely. The Pinfall Palace is quite a big asset, and I think entertainment facility like this in and around the campus in the main street is going to be quite welcome. We can push it up to there a little bit. It's going to give us that logo, of course, against the road, which is always appreciated, isn't it? As the tram does a little jig. So these buildings with the 4 deeps either side will really frame the tram line as it comes between the buildings, won't it? That'll be a lot of fun, that, I think. So we'll wait for these northeast to level up. Well, we don't have a choice. They will level up. But, I mean, even the southwest has some brick on it, doesn't it? Maybe we do stick with southwest. We'll see. We can always rezone it, right? Services are important up here. Let's check our values. So high school, college, and university will all be funneled into the campus when they eventually drop into being required. So we'll just keep elementary schools in these little towns here. We'll do southwest, of course. There's such good assets there. They're great suburbia, you know. We'll have the school also here on the main street as well. Now this one's also got quite a few really nice building upgrades on it, which we've used before in and around Main Street. We're going to have one there. And then one over there too. We can also have the arts and music building, which we might as well go ahead. Do that. Medical, we should be okay with. Not got a ton of sick people in the city. Do we have one here already? There's death care. Yeah, okay. Let's bring in the clinic then. Let's do the Japanese medical center just on the hillside here. Although that's not very friendly to a hill, is it? Because it's got the parking on the side there. How about we come here then as part of Main Street? Let's begin to surround this with some more workspaces. We'll have a bunch of commercial in here. And then some office space as well. The southwest office only grows 4 deep, so let's go with some vanilla office, which aren't horrible assets to be fair. Another apartment building there as well. And Main Street already should be coming together here, I think. I'd also like a pitch of some sorts up here as well. This little, what is this? Is this a rhombus? I'm not sure. My high school geometry is failing me. But I reckon we can have this as a big park because I really want some pitches quite prominently up here. We have a lot of these places in the UK, and I'm sure in most other football playing countries as well. But just big collections of pitches where usually youths will train. Or you can also hire them out for birthday parties, etc. Let's have a road to hold this. So I want many repeated football pitches, and I think the angle of the stands should also be taken into consideration as well, I feel. Another one there. And these shouldn't be too nasty on the terrain. Yeah, they're okay. The surfaces need tidying up, but we can do that. But yes, you know, the point being, if you can sit here and watch the future Cristiano Ronaldo develop in the hills of Yeti, then it's just great views, isn't it, right? So making sure that the stands here on the assets actually face out to that view. Otherwise, they'll just face to that, which admittedly is nice, but you know, you want the view over the town, don't you, from here? So we'll turn this whole space then into a park. It's pretty gnarly terrain here. We'll do some amending in that in the time lapse just to not do yet more terraforming. And then some more of those sports parts will go down nicely. Definitely the basketball centre. Have that there. We'll also feed that to there. And can we have any car parking going to be our friend here? Maybe behind these buildings we can have a bit of a bigger car park. And then actually use that terrain layer to our advantage to push it in the road, so park is slightly recessed against the housing that will look out over it. And I'd quite like a substantial car park here. Maybe 2 mediums, possibly. Also happens to perfectly align with the current junction, so it sits and fits everyone. We know the rules. And then some delicate oak work, I think. Just to tie together a bit of a tree line. Trees always go such a long way, don't they, to making us feel a little bit more secure in the build. Yeah, it's actually a very nice combination of assets there, isn't it? Those 2 car parks behind the vanilla assets. You get quite the facility with that, don't you? Cool. And then we'll do some more custom playground stuff as well. For smaller, less athletic children. I can't quite play football yet. Let's bring in some of our sand surface. Start this from the edge. I'll do a few pathways out to it actually. So let's have it as a bit of a trodden path. You can imagine people taking shortcuts onto this one as well. We'll snap to the side of the building for this bit. Like people just sort of trodding from that stadium out into this sandy area, which we will snap together with angles. Let's have this run down. We'll also do another little trodden connecting path here as well. So we have something like that. And then with a little bit of tree lining, we'll grab a bush line. So we can treat this as though it is kind of a hedge rather than a single row of individual bushes. So the smaller children don't run off into the distance. And then we can create a 5-year-old's haven with lots of different playground paraphernalia. Let's grab a couple of sandboxes too, merry-go-round, a couple of seesaws, and then benches, of course. For the parents, that's that here. Just a nice little addition to a park space, isn't it? These sorts of props, CS1 Vanilla was really sorely missing. Had to use Find It to get them. But I hope as CS2 continues to update, they don't forget about these little vanilla prop additions, and we get more of them. And the library continues to grow. Shipping container stacks would be quite nice to have in this pool as well. And then just re-bring in some of those oaks and pines and hickories we took away. That should be a nice little bolt on there just to the side of the stadium and the wider sort of sports family facility, shouldn't it? I like that, I think. Let's also get some of our low density homes growing in here too. I want kind of a diminishing density thing going on here. So I'm happy for all this to grow up as it sees fit. And probably this next block as well. And then after that, I'm going to start zoning these little 3 deeps in that are 2 blocks apart, I think. And I'm just using vanilla low density for this. And then after that, we'll have much more kind of scattered, lone, random size housing. As Benedict really kind of falls away back into the countryside of Yokeley, right? So just smaller homes out here. And then we'll do the same up all these streets as well, so much more dense around the initial centre. And then diminishing density as we move away. I did also mention I want buses here. I'd like to review the bus transport thing. So, what's the current situation with buses? We don't have any up in Benedict at all, do we? They're all down in Lower Benedict in the downtown, the buses, and Shelton too. I think it'd be a good idea if we can connect a line from the Upper Benedict, I guess centre is what it is now, to meet with the buses at Lower Benedict for interchange purposes. And then also feed a bus out to Sunnyside, and then an eventual bus, which will prepare the platform for, out to the other town as well, which will eventually meet with the train station over here as well, which will be great fun. So there's a couple of Chunga's assets here, and this one's got 5 platforms. Not sure which one I want to use, really. Maybe wouldn't mind having it on the main road by the university, because there's going to be a lot of pathways back and to across this creek. So I reckon, for those purposes alone, we can probably place it here. Let's get some commercial around it as well on the run up to the bridge. So I'm going to knock this off onto its own road, I think. So let's just have a little alleyway system. We'll come up from the end of that divided segment. It should sit quite tidily in there. It's a really nice asset, this one. Got a couple upgrades. We can have another 5 platforms, which we will do because this will be quite a big bus hub, this one. And then the bus service station, which looks like it all tuck in quite nicely there, does it? I think it does. We'll also send a road up to that as well, I think. Super, so we'll worry about the train in a second. Let's have bus stops up and down the main street, of course. And then you'll really run out more on sort of a national road configuration, I think. So stop here in the suburbia again. And then you won't really stop. Can we stop on the highway roads? We can. Okay. We'll have a bus stop here then by the lookout point. And then it can come into Sunnyside. And it will come down the main street here, stopping by the plaza at the back of the town hall. Before it comes... Let's see, where do we want to go here? All the way... I don't know where that road's going yet. Likely... Yeah, I'll probably bring it up the hill and around this way, I think. Just to get distracted. Loop around this way on the main road. And then come down into our bus near the train. Where do we want this one? Could put it the other side. I will lose my trees here, which I'm not massively happy about. It's okay though. And then they'll do a little loop as they turn around. Running all the way back to Benedict. So let's get this first one set up. We'll start from our very far left platform. Splendid and tremendous. Let's keep on top of these line names. We'll grab some of our buses. I've actually not been too bad with them at all so far. And that's our Upper Benedict to Sunnyside route. We'll start changing some bus cores as well. Let's go for a bit of a sort of a white National Express coach maybe, while it's running on longer distance national roads. Next up, we also want a bus running down. Now, it would be cool to have it parallel with the tram. But I think I can see where I want this one to run already. So let's have our bus shelters. We're going to come out the station. We're then going to come onto this little road, stopping by all these parks, businesses and paths. Then come all the way down. I've got this little taxi conga line there. And then we don't need the stands here. Let's just use the regular stops all the way down this street. We've got a bit of traffic here, have we? Well, hopefully the bus will fix it. We'll come down here. I imagine it's because we've just zoned a lot of residential. Everyone's moving around. And then I'd love you to... How are we going to stop by the hub here? I don't mind, maybe. You can stop there. And then loop around. Because we're doing double-sided here, we'll run this as an A and B loop, so they're running against each other, 2 separate lines. Then come back into the suburb. You can use these 2 bus stops again over here. And then finish your line. So we'll have this one from here. That's the complete route for number 1. We will name this. So that's the Upper Benedict to Benedict Loop A. And then exactly the same now, but just the opposite direction for everyone involved. And of course, this one doesn't need to go via Main Street because it's coming up the junction before that. And that is the B loop. And we'll make these kind of contrasting colours. Let's do a green. And I'll make them both green, actually. There you go. 2 slightly different shades of green should be fine. Super. And that connects everyone in to the bus facility there, which is wonderful. And we should have the bus capacity. During a live stream, we did place in more bus depots out here. There's another one. Here it is, yeah, this one here. About those buses, yeah, there you go. There's our little green buses on the way there. Shall we, well, let's enjoy a bit of a follow along with them, shall we? Watch them drive into the town, because it's been a while since we've been over here. Enjoy some of the bus noises. Really like the towers by the highway as well. Those the roundabouts here. Very controversial with the network police, this one, when we built it. But it's fun and it's working. It's a nice little interesting configuration of a road, isn't it? Small, medium and large roundabouts all tethered in. So these guys are going to use the national road infrastructure, it would seem. And if they're going to take the bridge across to Benedict, they know they're coming down the main street. Okay. Into all this business now. Wonderful. Look at how dense the Skyline's got them with the upgrades too. I actually really like that skyline though for vanilla. It's very nice, isn't it? And then all the green buses in the world are here, of course. So any traffic issues we had coming down these roads in particular, these buses along with the trams now extending further up the hill, should hopefully take care of them. Yeah, it's already cleared up down here, hasn't it? I think it's just a wave of moving in people, that was all. I'm actually very excited to watch them climb the hill if we follow them in between all these row homes. I do like the row housing and everything else too. Oh, bus doing a little U-turn there. But there's already quite a few people waiting at that stop then, wasn't there? Let's check the one up the road as well. Beginning to gather here now. Some people using the pathways as well. Oh, he's having a slightly difficult time turning that bus around, it would seem. You okay, mate? You gonna go? Yeah, there we go. I thought he crashed then. And then up the street into the next little commercial centre, which should give us a very nice view down here, we hope. We do hope and we do receive. Perfect. That feels like a wonderful place, I think, for a detailing time lapse, just to flesh out the rest of the zoning. I really don't like this. This is terrible. So I'm going to rezone that. These trailer park ones aren't too bad, actually, are they? Not here, though. I want actual homes, not trailers. So I'll rezone that to probably southwest, and then bring up the residential here, parks, some more services, and some tree work, likely with some pedestrian pathways crossing the creek, as we complete the edge of Upper Benedict to settle in, and then we'll be right back. Otherwise guys, that'll do it for today. A really nice round out to the district of Upper Benedict, and once the university sits across the creek from here, this area I guess will finally be complete. I think next episode we'll get stuck into some farming towns, but this lot of towns have turned out great. The trams and the buses are getting loads of use. They seem to have taken quite a few cars off the road as well. And the views from here across the entire creek are just pretty breathtaking, probably the best in the city I think. A huge shout out to the YouTube members and patrons that support these videos, with a shout out to our golden patron eggs, Bad Wolf, Blythe, Casino, Great C, Jamin, Louis Adlam, Michael W, Phoenix MD, and Spartan Angel. If you want to get involved in that, links below to Instant Gaming. Otherwise, I'll shut up, enjoy the cinematics, and I'll see you next time. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.